And that's where the transparency comes in. And that's what, I think, kind of, this reminds me of a conversation we had probably, 6 months ago. And we were talking about this. And the key that you're bringing about there is the transparency. And for the digital transformations today, it's merging the business and the operations and the development, all that stuff together, is be transparent about the business piece of it. So when you create that model, it's the transparency of, it's not just, okay, you're the best in the world at what you do with that technology, but it's about, hey, how am I flowing value to my customer? And how is what I do work with the rest of the organization, impact and have impacts downstream or upstream in the organization? And I think that's part of, again, the experiential immersion model that we use in real time. It's not just us telling them, they're at the water cooler, they're at lunch break, and they start talking amongst each other, the workers, the people start talking, and hey, by the way, Joe, remember that when you did that? And now these conversations come, it gives an opportunity. And that, to me, is the catalyst that you're talking about, Mike, is just, that's the effect that we create when we come in with our model.
Yeah, and to see that start to happen organically. I'm a food guy, and so I use a lot of food analogies. But I love the idea of a smoothie. Someone once asked, what does this look like, after transformation? And of course, we know that transformation is never really done. But I use the idea of a smoothie, saying, okay, look, you're going to put in a bunch of ingredients. You got your ice, your strawberries, your banana, your blueberries, etc., and all of them are used to being, I'm just in a bowl of blueberries. And I'm just a blueberry. But once that smoothie is made, it's really hard to tell what was a blueberry, what was a strawberry, what was a banana. It's all mixed together. And that is, in my mind, the picture of, okay, you see people from two different business units, two different functions or departments interacting at the water cooler, talking about digitization, digital transformation, talking about the change, talking about what their experience is in that change. And now we're starting to see, okay, we're getting this mixing, this fluidity that didn't exist when everyone sat in their own little silos.
And that, so I'm going to piggyback on that, because what I'm thinking of is, think about your smoothie, right? It's not like you're doing a mixed drink cocktail for the adults and maybe for the kids fruit punch, right?
Shirley Temple.
Okay, where you have the layers and you may mix it up and it's all pink, but then you have the clear on top and red at the bottom. The strawberries fall to the bottom, right? The smoothie maintains its consistency over time.
That's right.
And that's true transformation. And that's really what we're talking about here, is the ability, and this is why, going back to, again, the conversation, you guys had a conversation in the other video, is that you got into this, talking about the cause and effect, is that our approach is different than the others. How we're different out there is that because of the immersion factor and how we do what we do with our approach, you are the smoothie the whole time along, and that your leaders, from the C-level executives down to the folks in the in the trenches doing the work, you're all mixed in there together, and you're changing together at the same time. And that is really, to me, I think, is the true value add that our customers, that's why our customers come back to us and have been over the years, is that, hey, you guys actually do it in real time.
Well, it speaks to the permanence of transformation that you've alluded to in the past. Consultants, like to sort of stand on the side and, stir things up and almost break make you things dependent on them, because
once give you the recipe. Here's the recipe for the perfect smoothie that you have to follow, right?
But as soon as the ingredients start to separate again, then what do you have to do? You have to call the consultants back. And say, okay, we don't look like that anymore. The change isn't permanent. And of course, as a consultant, they love that, right? It's more revenue, more money for them. But if we can affect change and it's permanent, you can't unmake a smoothie. Right? It'll never go back to its constituent pieces.
It also speaks about trust too. I mean, we have to trust our organization to make that smoothie well. I'm gonna stick with this analogy. This idea that if I'm a C-level executive, I'm used to going out and buying consulting services because I've never gotten fired for hiring consulting services. I've got that indemnification that comes from hiring consulting services. Do I trust my team? Well, if I haven't before, I should now, because if I don't, I'm the wrong person for that role.
That's right.
I need to spend time to figure out a way to learn to trust my team and have them do it themselves. I talk a lot about being the innovator inside, and the reason is because you can innovate with a consulting firm. You can do all those things, but the moment they leave, they take that innovation with them, or at least they take that that capability with them.
Right.
So in effect, you're not really buying innovation. You're not really buying consulting. You're renting it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they leave, it kind of goes back and my smoothie separates. So there you go.
That's right.
But I like all of this is about, it's an organizational transformation, not just a DevOps or digital transformation, because it starts with the people and the culture, right? The water cooler talk, the transparency, the vulnerability, the trust, right? It all goes, people is the main ingredient in this, and you're transforming the way that the organization works together and the culture of the organization. And I like how we say it's people first, right? People, process, tools, technology. So many consulting firms come in and prescribe the technology that they're the VAR for and start with the platform or the technology. Then they fix the process, and people's like the last thing on their agenda, right? Like the last thing to change. But we're saying the real transformation, the successful transformation starts with transforming the people inside the organization.